Hello everyone and welcome to another SQL session at Learn at No Star. In today's session, we are going to take a look at some more analytical functions. So we have already taken a look at the rank functions, the dense rank functions, and the row number functions. There's some more analytical functions which help us to analyze the data, and these are the lead and lag functions. The lead and lag functions allow us to access the values from either the previous rows or the next rows of a database table. So let's take a look with an example on how we can use them in our SQL queries. We are going to work with the data from the quarterly sales table. If we execute a simple select query, we can take a look at the data. So the data is nothing but quarterly sales data. We have a year, we have 2 years, separate years in this database table, and we have the 4 quarters within those years and the sales associated with those quarters. So now if the requirement is that I want to take a look at the previous quarter's sale, so for each quarter which has a separate record in my database table, I want to compare the sales of that quarter with the previous quarter's sales. So how can I frame this query? So let's just go ahead and select all the columns. So we have the year column, we have the quarter column, so quarter name as quarter, and then we have sales as current sales. And now I want to access the sales from the previous quarter. So the way I can do that is using the lag function. So lag itself, if you look at the name, it suggests that we are going to reference some value from a previous record. So if I just write the lag function, and this is how we write it, lag, and over which column do I want to access the previous records data? So that column is sales. So just put that column name over here. And then as for all other analytical functions, we have to use the over keyword and define the partitioning and the ordering of the data. So because we want to compare the quarterly data, but only within that year, we are going to partition the data by the year so that we are comparing only within that year. So partition by year, and we need to order by the quarter so that we are correctly comparing with the previous quarter. So quarter 2 needs to be compared with quarter 1. So quarter 1 needs to be our previous record in the sorted data. So order by, and our column is called quarter name. And let's call this as previous quarter sales. So if I just execute this query, you will see that for the year 2018, the quarters have been sorted, and for quarter 1, the previous quarter sales are null because there is no previous quarter within the year 2018, and that is okay. That is the way we wanted it. And quarter 2, for quarter 2, the previous quarter sales are taken from the quarter 1 record over here, which is the previous record in the sorted data set based on the order by condition that we have specified over here. And similarly for quarter 3, we have directly called the previous quarter sales as the sales from quarter 2. Quarter 4 has the previous quarter sales from quarter 3, and so on. And when we move on to the next year, the values get reset for the quarter 1 because there is no corresponding previous quarter for that. And then similarly, we have the previous quarter values for the other quarters within that year. So this is how the lag function works, and this is how you can access the previous records using the lag function. So very simple to use, and it has a wide utility because it makes it very easy to compare the previous records with the current record. Now you can also change this. Let's say you want to access you want to compare it with the previous, not the previous quarter, but the 2 quarters prior. You want to access the data or sales data which is 2 quarters prior to your current quarter. Then you can just use another option over here and specify 2. Okay, and now in this case, if you run it, you will get for the first 2 quarters, the previous quarter sales would be null because there are no previous references for these. For the third quarter, if we take a look, we get the value which is 2 records above it, so quarter 1 value, right? So this is 5,000, we get the 5,000 here. For quarter 4, we have got the value from quarter 2. So using this option, you can vary how much previous you want to go in terms of records, and if we are using the lead function, how much further down in the order we want to go to fetch the records. Now let's take a look. For the same requirement, let's take a look at how we can use the lead function. So lead function is simply the opposite of the lat function, not much difference over there. So we are going to implement the same requirement, but we are just going to change the function. So instead of leg over here, we are going to use the function lead. So simple, the keyword, you have to type the keyword lead, and we are going to remove this offset over here because we just want to compare it with the previous quarter. Now we want to compare it with the previous quarter, so we have to make sure that the ordering that we are doing over here is correct, because our requirement is still the same. We want the previous quarter sales and not the next quarter sales or the future quarter sales, which might not be available in some cases. We actually want the previous quarter sales, but we are using another function. We are not using the lat function, which was a direct function to be used. We're using the lead function. So now we have to make sure and explicitly specify how we want to sort the quarters. So we want to sort the quarters in this case in the, let's say, the descending order. So if you sort it in the descending order, then you will get the correct difference. So if I write descending over here, so descending in this scenario simply means that the data would be sorted in the descending order of the quarters. So quarter 4, quarter 3, quarter 2, and quarter 1, and so on. And since we're using the lead function, the difference will be calculated for quarter 3 on the next record. And the next record is going to be the quarter 2 record. So our requirement would still be met. So let's execute this query and see what are our results from the output of this query. So if we take a look, we see the quarters have been sorted in the descending order. So quarter 4 has been compared with quarter 3, and the sales from quarter 3 are registered as the previous quarter sales for quarter 4, which was our original requirement, and therefore we have got the correct results. If you look at quarter 1, you will still see that the previous quarter sales are null, which is what was required. So you can use these functions interchangeably as well in many places. So these are fairly easy to use functions and fairly useful as well. If you like this video, then please do not forget to like, share and comment on this video, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for many more such videos. Thank you. Have a good day and stay safe.